Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are looking at 30 English phrases that many people get wrong in daily conversations. Don't worry, these are very common mistakes. And fixing them is super easy when you understand the logic behind them. Let's learn the correct way to say them together, step by step, so you can sound much more natural. Let's start with how we greet people and agree with them in our daily lives. Many learners say, I am agree with you. But because agree is already a verb all by itself, you should simply say, I agree with you. Adding am is like saying, I am walk or I am run, which sounds a bit strange to a native speaker. Similarly, when asking about an appearance, do not mix your words by saying, how does it look like? In English, we have two distinct choices here. You can either say, what does it look like? Or how does it look? For example, you can say, what does your new house look like? But never mix how and like together in the same sentence. Another classic mistake is trying to change a well-known idiom by saying, long time no see you. This expression is already complete on its own, so adding the word you at the end makes it sound unnatural. The correct time-tested phrase is simply, long time no see. It is a fixed expression, so you do not need to add anything else to it. Moving on to talking about time and your personal experiences. People often say, I am living here since 2 years. In English, when an action started in the past, but is still happening right now, we use a special structure. It is much better to say, I have been living here for 2 years. Remember to use for when you are talking about the total duration of time, like 2 years, 5 months, or 3 days. Also, be very careful when replying to the question, how are you? Saying, nice to meet you too does not fit this situation. You should save nice to meet you exclusively for the very first moment you are introduced to a stranger. If you already know them and they ask how you are doing, a simple and polite answer is, I am doing well, thank you. Now let's look at some common mistakes we make when talking about work and our daily routines. In a meeting, you might hear someone say, I need to discuss about the project. However, the verb discuss already means to talk about something in detail. So adding the word about is like saying the same thing twice. To sound professional, you just need to say, I need to discuss the project with the team. If you want to talk about success, avoid saying, I am very keys to success. This phrase describes actions, tools, or habits, not a person directly. The correct way to share your advice is, hard work is the key to success, or this strategy is the key to success. If you are late in the morning because you missed your transportation, do not say, I lost the bus. In English, you lose physical objects that you can drop, like your keys, your wallet, or your phone. For transport that leaves without you, you should always say, I missed the bus, or I missed my flight. While sitting at your desk, if you feel tired or uninterested, be careful with your words and do not say, I am boring in the office. If you say you are boring, it means you are a dull person who makes other people sleepy. But if you are the one experiencing the feeling, you should say, I am bored in the office. And if you miss a sentence during a conversation, please do not ask, can you repeat that again? Since the word repeat already means to say or do something again. Using both words is unnecessary repetition. Instead, simply say, can you repeat that? Or can you say that again? Let's transition into our social life, food and free time. When going out to eat, do not say that you're going to a barbecue with your friends, unless you are actually visiting someone's backyard party to enjoy grilled food. If your destination is a real business or a local diner, it is always better to say, I'm going to a barbecue restaurant. Adding the word restaurant makes your message clear and completely professional. When talking about your favorite hobbies, saying, I like listen to music is grammatically incorrect. In English, you cannot place two action verbs right next to each other without a proper connection. To fix this, you can simply add the word to or change the ending of the verb. So the perfect options are I like listening to music or I like to listen to music. Both of these sound wonderful and natural. When you arrive at a restaurant with a group, avoid telling the waiter, we are 4 people. While it gets the message across, it sounds a bit unnatural. It is much better to say, there are 4 of us, or a table for 4, please. Later, if you want to write a friendly email, do not say, I look forward to meet you. The phrase look forward to is a unique phrasal verb, and it always requires an ing verb after it. So you must say, I look forward to meeting you next week. Also, try to avoid using double negatives in the same sentence, such as he does not know nothing in English. 2 negative words cancel each other out and confuse the meaning. We keep it simple and clear by saying, he does not know anything, or he knows nothing. Shopping and moving around the city also have a few tricky phrases that confuse learners. For example, do not ask a shopkeeper, how much is the cost? You can either ask, how much does it cost? Or, what is the cost? Mixing the two structures together is a very common error. When explaining your purpose or the reason for a trip, saying, I went to the supermarket for buying milk sounds unnatural. In English, to show the purpose of an action, we use the base verb with the word to. So, you should say, I went to the supermarket to buy milk. If you find a cheap dress, do not say, it costs low money. We can say that prices are low, but the objects themselves cost not much or a lot. Therefore, the correct phrase is, the dress is cheap, it does not cost much. When you plan to buy things over the weekend, saying, I need to do a shopping is a bit off, because shopping is not a single noun you can count. For clothing or gifts, say, I need to go shopping. If you are talking about regular groceries, you can say, I need to do the grocery shopping. Finally, if you are looking for the closest train station in the city, do not ask for the closer station, because closer is only used when comparing two specific things. Since there are many stations in a city, you should ask, where is the nearest station? Let's look at how we express our feelings and react to daily situations. Many people say, I am very much tired. But the phrase very much usually belongs with verbs of emotion, like I like it very much. For descriptive adjectives, you just need to say, I am very tired, or I am so tired. If someone makes a mistake and says sorry to you, please do not reply by saying, you are welcome. That specific phrase should only be used when a person is saying thank you to you. For any kind of apology, the kindest and most natural response is to say, no problem, or simply, don't worry about it. These choices show that you have forgiven them and moved on. If you have some exciting information to share, do not say, I have good news. The word news cannot be counted with A or N in English, just like water or air. You should simply say, I have good news. Or if you want to count it, say, I have a piece of good news. When you want to talk about going to the cinema with a friend, do not say, me and John went to the cinema. As a general rule in English, when you are doing the action, you should use the letter I. Also, it is considered polite to put the other person's name before your own. Therefore, the right way to build this sentence is, John and I went to the cinema. And if you do not like cigarettes, do not describe your personal identity by saying, I am non-smoking. The word non-smoking is an adjective for places, like a non-smoking room or a non-smoking flight. For a person's habit, just say, I do not smoke. To finish our list, let's look at the last 5 common mistakes. When you visit a salon, saying, I cut my hair yesterday, literally means you took the scissors and did it yourself in front of the mirror. If a professional hairdresser did it for you, you should use the causative structure and say, I got my hair cut yesterday. When you share a rule or an idea, please do not say that you will explain someone the rule. The word explain is a bit special. It cannot connect directly to a person. You always need to use the word to right before the person. So the best way to say it is, I will explain the rule to you. This sounds much smoother. Similarly, when talking about relationships, do not say, he is married with a doctor, even though some languages use the word with. English always uses to for marriage connections. So the correct sentence is, he is married to a doctor. When talking about a whole group of people, saying, every student like the teacher is a grammatical error. The word every looks at a group but treats them as single individuals. So it must be followed by a singular noun and a singular verb. You must say, every student likes the teacher. And lastly, if you are at a dinner party and the host offers you more food, do not just say, thank you, I am full. In many cultures, Saying thank you implies that you are accepting the offer. To be perfectly clear, polite, and avoid getting an extra plate of food you cannot eat. Always say, "No, thank you. I am full." And that makes 30. Making mistakes is a completely normal and beautiful part of learning a language. So never be afraid to practice. The main goal today is to understand the logic behind these changes. When you understand the reason, it is very easy to remember everything. You can practice these phrases in your next conversation to sound natural and full of confidence. If this video helped you learn something new, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more easy lessons. Thank you for watching today and see you next time. Goodbye.